Yes, my great people, the interest of this country should be at heart. I would say should be in the heart of the so-called president, the President Muhammadu Buhari, and also those that were appointed. Well, this headline says Malami is a public interest. Also will determine political situation for Kanu. Yes, but public interest, but I don't know how that is and the meaning why it should be that public interest should determine political situation for Nnamdi KANU. Says Lagos panel report not conclusive on Lekki Tollgate Plaza incident or thereabout, but as it is, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Abubakar Malami, has said public interest and pulse will determine whether the federal government, yes, and also whether the federal government of the Nigeria would decide or not. Mr. Abubakar Malami has said public interest and polls will determine whether the federal government will consider a political solution. Definitely, or a pardon for the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Nnamdi KANU speaking yesterday on Channel's television program Politics Today. Malami said the option of a political solution is not currently on his table, stating, however, that his action as the Attorney General of the Federation is always in the interest of the public. Well, I believe in interest of the public, because what you want to gain, I would say you are only doing the bidding of your paymaster, or rather, I would say the interest of the public, indirectly or directly. If there is no profit, it won't be as interest of the public. According to him, government is taking its time before disclosing the list of sponsors of terror in the country, adding that there are both local and international collaborators on the list. Well, you are now telling us that Nnamdi KANU is a sponsor of terrorism just because he's been attached to the indigenous people of Biafra, telling them to kill people, also to destroy government reformation or government formation. And you deem it fit as far as Kenya, you could arrest Nnamdi KANU. But I would not say that's the yardstick for arresting him. That's not the point. The point is that you said he was saying, ill things about Buhari, and now you are telling us that you keep arresting sponsors of terror. That's why you now, introduce yourself to stupidity by telling Nigerians that you have seen the sponsor of Sunday Igboho. He sponsored Sunday Igboho. Sunday Igboho is sponsoring a terrorist. And how would you, describe Sunday Igboho being a Boko Haram or terrorist? But as it is, I would say, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we all know your antecedent. We all know what this federal government or this present administration they are up to. They are up to not to let the agitator, succeed just because they are doing bad, and they don't want them to propagate the gospel of their bad governance. So if you could arrest Nnamdi KANU, so he's a sponsor of terrorists. So who are those that are sponsoring Boko Haram that you couldn't arrest for the past 12 years? Yeah. So that means. You are only blaspheming, and your submission do not hold water as it is. It says Malami said the option of a political solution is not currently on his table, stating, however, that his action as AGF is always in the interest of the public. According to him, government is taking its time before disclosing the list of sponsors of terror in the country, adding that there are both local and international collaborators on the list. On the Lagos Census panel report, he said the report cannot be conclusive in establishing the position of what transpired on October 20th, 2020 at Lekki Tollgate. The minister said there are still additional layers of administrative processes and judicial processes that may follow before you can jump to conclusions to determine what occurred. It is all about constitutionality, and I think what determines the constitutionality of what has been done and the factual situation on the ground. So you cannot rule out any possibility, inclusive of bringing any security apparatus once there is existing, and there is also a threat to national integrity, territory integrity of the nation, or perhaps once these are certain security challenges on the ground. I'm not a security officer, but one thing I can tell you is that it is a function of what is on the ground, and the function of the security apparatus of government to ensure that at the end of the day, you have protection and provide adequate protection within the limit of the constitution. Well, the indictment to you, Malami, I would say is very obvious, and you have accused yourself shooting and putting a nail on your own head. That is what it is. If you are telling us there should be an adequate protection within the limit of the law, what protection and what guidance have you given to the Nigerian citizens, especially in Northeast? Because Boko Haram terrorists are, destroying houses and doing all that, and you have told us in the limit of the law, within the law or constitution, the first priority of governance is security, to protect lives and properties. But as it is, you are contradicting yourself. What that simply means that you have shot yourself on the foot by giving Nigerians false narrative. If you tell us it's embedded in the constitution, then why not disseminate such? And also let people see what you are capable of as a government. The issue is what is the threat on the ground, and then what are the measures and also necessary for the purpose of ensuring that peace and security that are being posed are checked accordingly. Whether security personnel are armed or unarmed, I am not in the position to conclude. But one thing I can tell you is that it is the responsibility of the government to ensure the security of life and provide the security and properties as far as the territorial integrity of a nation is concerned. My decision is, in all respect, anytime and on demand, generally speaking, would be a decision that would be based on the fact of the ground. It is the facts on the ground that determines my advice to government, with particular regard to public interest and also justice, and indeed provide security. Well, what this Malami has said, if truly he was the one or is the one that is saying all this, I don't see any, I don't see any concrete speech here. I don't see where he has said that they are working or making sure that the security and lives and properties of the citizen would be protected. I would say this is just beating around the bush. Malami is just speaking like a child. They are telling us it is a function of the government to do this, to do that, but they are not doing it. What is happening in the northeast, in the northwest, and north central, in Nigeria in general, because the so-called northern elite wouldn't want to tell you the truth. As far as you, as the Attorney General of the Federation, you should know better, because and also you are from the northern part of the country. So what is happening in your domain, you don't really know. You are not telling us the work of the security personnel. Well, it's so very good that your advice for the government is to particularly regard the public interest and justice and provide security. Well, according to it, says it's not about who is involved, but what are the facts and factual situation. You are even contradicting yourself. So you are telling us now it's beyond your duty, and you are still saying it is not about who is involved, but we what the facts are. The situation on the ground, my opinion as the chief law officer is to provide a solution on the basis on facts on the ground, and not on basis or perhaps individual interest. On whether live bullets were used on armless protesters during protests, he said you are jumping to conclusions that live ammunition was indeed used on the NSAS protesters. Whether the report says it or not, as far as I am concerned, I'm not in a position to determine that. But part of the report you referred to was rejected. Part of it was admitted. Within the contents of the white paper too, you have a criminal investigation that must naturally follow for the purpose of a criminal prosecution. Yes, this is what has been said to Malami. Yes, since he's aware, everybody will start looking for the excuses. I'm not in the best position to do this. I'm not in the best position to do that. Well, when it comes to laying verdicts, whether the president has said it or not, or when it comes to what will interest you and what will benefit you, Malami, you will be the best to quickly release information. When Nnamdi KANU was arrested in Kenya, when Nnamdi KANU was kidnapped in Kenya, the information minister should be the one that will release that statement, but Malami jumped into conclusion and started reading statement, giving us how Nnamdi KANU was arrested. you can see that because it benefits him, because Nnamdi KANU is saying ill of his government, a bad government, and they are in the government, so they know what is obtainable, and that is why he, deemed it fit to release that statement. So you're now telling us you are not in best position, but it wasn't your duty and it wasn't your position to read or to give Nigerian public the notice to tell us what you have done with Nnamdi KANU. So Lai Mohammed should have given us that information as the information minister. So why you, the Attorney General of the Federation, you're supposed to be sitting in your office? They will bring information to you. It's for you to just stamp or warrant it and all that. So that's just it. But you were very happy to release that information. Well, it's left for you. It's left to you. 2023 is coming. ICC is coming. The Nigerians are coming. Politics is coming. Election is coming. Let's see how it goes.